Bezos or is it Warren Buffett? Is it who the hell is it? Is it Elon Musk securing it for, his production? I don't know, but I will say that a short squeeze is setting up in massive proportions based upon the deliveries and the exodus out of the exchanges. But we're seeing a draining of the world's exchanges, at least everywhere else besides the Comex, which is getting filled. But there's some interesting developments. Last week, there's a man named Bruce Ikemizu, Ikemizu, and he was formerly head of Chinese bank ICBC Tokyo's precious metals desk, and now head of the Japan Bullion Market Association, kind of like the Comex in Japan. He says the market may already be broken. He says London, to what Alistair was saying, appears to have virtually no physical platinum available for delivery. He says it seems that there really is no platinum in local London Zurich, yet continues trading nearly 3 million ounces per day of London promissory note cash contracts for immediate platinum ownership and delivery. Something is about to break, he says. But this is something that we're seeing all over the place. It's not just in London. We're seeing some really crazy, interesting things happen here in the United States as well. And I'll give you an example. If we just take a look, for example, at the first 3 days of the August contract. I've been screaming that we are watching these deliveries since November come in since the election that are ridiculous, that they're so far outside of what is normal. The people need to take notice that the people that are doing this are incredibly sophisticated and well-heeled. You do not see deliveries coming into the Comex the way that we have been month over month over month over month over month since November and not take notice. Yet you don't hear a damn word by the mainstream. Okay, so the important things are ignored by the mainstream and are covered by guys like you and Alistair and myself and others in this industry who spend copious amount of time trying to dig. The fact that we aren't hearing anything about this is crazy. We've become a net importer of gold since November. That's something that we haven't ever been in my 35-year career. Never, maybe a month here and a month there. Every single month, we're seeing massive amounts of gold and silver being brought into the United States. In the first 3 days of the August contract, we saw over 2 million ounces of gold post for delivery, over 20,100 contracts. Now, I used to say that less than 1% of contracts stood for delivery. During my career, that would be a truism. No one stood for delivery. These contracts were rolled over. These contracts were cash settled. It would be a way for producers or even a company like myself to hedge exposure. If I have 2,000 ounces or 5,000 ounces of gold in my warehouse, I will sell 5,000 on Comex. If the price goes down on the 5,000 ounces of gold by $100, I'm down $500,000. But what I sold short on Comex goes up commensurate. So it allows me to be market balanced, market neutral. I don't have any intention whatsoever of taking delivery of those contracts, but that is exactly what we are seeing. And to give you an idea, remember I said less than 1%, just within the first 3 days of the August contract so far, of the 20,126 contracts that were posted, 100% of those contracts, all of them, stood for delivery. That's $7 billion worth of gold that stood for delivery. Now, this is what we've been seeing nonstop. What is also interesting is that the majority of that gold, goodbye, left the exchange. Now, a lot of times people say, well, the stuff standing for delivery isn't leaving the exchange. It is leaving the exchange. And he asks yourself, who the hell's doing this? Who's got that kind of bread, that kind of liquidity? But we've been seeing this every single month, month over month over month over month over month. 4 billion this month, 8 billion this month. Now, there was an interesting chart that I saw, and I want to give credit where credit is due. I don't know who this is, but it's PM, Precious Metals Bug, on Twitter. And he says, I looked for the totals for the Comex daily silver stock reports for the last few days. And this would have been from August 1st. It's August 1st, and then you had a weekend, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th. Okay. One, two, three, four, 5 trading days. In 5 trading days, we saw 1.721192, 1,721,192 ounce, 1,721,192 ounces of silver that was received into Comex, right? So you're talking a lot of money. Over 1.7 million ounces of silver came in to the Comex. But what left for delivery, what was withdrawn out of the Comex in that same period of time, 1,890,316 ounces. More silver left than came in. Now ask yourself this question. Where the hell is 1.9 million ounces of silver going to be stored if not in the Comex vaults? Where's it going? Who's taking possession of it? And so when you talk about the potential of squeeze, you look in London, as Alistair said, they told us it's T plus 8 weeks. It's a T plus 1 settlement market, meaning T is trade day plus 1 is settlement. The third day, those bars better damn well be moving my direction because I own a company like I manufacture jewelry all over the world. Well, what do you mean my bars are 8 weeks delayed? Well, there's a shortage of manpower and trucks that the Bank of England tells us. Oh, I see. So the Bank of England doesn't have enough trucks to load my bars, but I've had this contract and I'm expecting the gold and silver because I have jewelry to make all around the world, but I got to wait 8 weeks. Well, that's what we're being told. Same thing here is being said. The head of the Japanese Metals Association is saying there is no platinum, yet they're trading 3 million ounces a day. If you listen to David Jensen, who's one of the great minds in my mind on what's going on in the LBMA, he will tell you that they trade, that there's 155 million ounce float of silver, the LBMA. That's the amount of silver backing the bars, right? But he says that they're trading 190 million ounces over that amount every day. But here's the interesting thing. He also says that those numbers are 10 times understated, the amount of trades, because they only post the final settlement numbers. So he's saying they trade upwards ends of 1.9 billion ounces of silver per day off of 155 million ounce float, which is 3.5 times the annual global mine supply and, 15 times the float. You see a problem here when people stand for delivery? This is the squeeze. It's in silver, it's in platinum. You're seeing it in massive gold deliveries. Something very, very, very different is happening where physical demand, and again, go back to trust or lack of trust, physical demand and repatriation out of the Bank of England, the New York Fed, and now the Comex and the LBMA is something that is highly unusual. That is the whipped cream on top of the unusual sundae, that all of the deliveries, the majority of them in the case of silver in the first 5 days, more silver left than was delivered. And to see contracts post and as much as 100% of those contracts stand for delivery when the norm was 1% or less, this is the stuff that people need to pay attention to. Price is the ultimate tool of misdirection. The effort it takes, the sophistication it takes, the wealth it takes, the understanding it takes to not only stand for delivery in this amount, but to move it out. And where the hell are you going to put it? You're talking several semi-trucks worth of silver. Where is it going? Who's taking possession of it? Could it be the Treasury Department under the guise of the Exchange Stabilization Fund? So they'll say it's national security so they can keep their mouth shut and not tell Congress? Or is it Warren Buffett? Is it who the hell is it? Is it Elon Musk securing it for his production? I don't know, but I will say that a short squeeze is setting up in massive proportions based upon the deliveries and the exodus out of the exchanges and this ecosystem that all of the traders have gotten used to, where stuff flows back and forth between the U.S. and London and Switzerland. It's broken, and it seems to be accelerating little by little by little. Then you wake up one morning, bang! There's no one stupid enough to sell at these prices. And then you start to see prices move eastward. You'll see prices that will have real material impact in Shanghai, in Dubai, in St. Petersburg, in Moscow, the new BRICS exchange. The people that are accumulating and producing more than we are and understand it, I believe, will ultimately compete with the West because of this crap for real price setting, for real price discovery, because the distortions have been created in the West. Shame on us. Shame on the folks at the Bank of England for doing this. And it's now being used against us in this manner where, yeah, go ahead. We'll take your stupid price, but you know what? We're going to stand for delivery and we're going to pull it out of your exchanges and it ain't ever coming back. So I think Alistair's spot on. When you talk about a short squeeze coming, you can see it. It's just a matter of how long they're able to keep the ball up in the air. And I would never count out the ability of these Western banks to keep it up longer than we expect. But ultimately, mathematics will have its way and logic will prevail. So these numbers to me are more important than anything. The delivery numbers, that is.